video is for you. And I'm going to do a couple of your problems. I'm going to start with a basic one like we did today in class. And then I'm going to do a couple of your harder ones so that you can practice it. So a basic one would look like number 6 in your workbook. And it's the absolute value of 2x minus 3 is equal to 15. Now, remember what we said. We said that the stuff on the inside of that absolute value, it could be either a positive 15 or a negative 15 in order to come out of the absolute value and show equal to 15. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to write it as if it's on the inside of this absolute value and it comes up to 15, it will come out as a 15. But if it's inside there and it works out to be a negative 15, then it still will come out of the absolute value as a positive 15. So now I have my two equations, one set to the positive, one set to the negative, and I'm going to solve them. So I'm just going to solve for x just like I always do. And I end up with 2x equals 18 or x equals 9. So this would be one answer. And then I'm going to do it to the other side. And I get 2x equals negative 12, and when I divide by 2, I end up with x equals a negative 6. There's my other answer, okay? But I want to check them. You always want to check and make sure that they work. So your real answer, instead of writing two spaces, you should say x is equal to negative 6 or 9, okay? Those are the two answers. And this would be what you box, and you wouldn't really box these guys. Okay, you can. Okay, and then just check them. Just check and make sure that they work, because if you did something wrong, you want to know. So I'm going to start with my original equation, and I'm going to plug in my first solution, which was 9. And I'm going to say 2 times 9 minus 3 is equal to 15. This would be 18 minus 3 is equal to 15, and 18 minus 3 is 15. Does the absolute value of 15, which is 15, equal 15? Yes. So we checked it. And now I'm going to do it with the other one. Start with my original equation, and now this time I'm going to plug in that negative 6. So 2 times negative 6 minus 3 equals 15. And remember, you have to solve everything inside the absolute value equation before you pull it out. So 2 times negative 6 is negative 12 minus 3, or plus a negative 3. And negative 12 plus a negative 3 is a negative 15. The absolute value of negative 15 is 15. And so it worked. Okay, now I'm going to do a harder one. So this one is number 12. And number 12 is 2 times the absolute value of 6x plus 5 minus 1 equals 25. Now, this is the thing that we want to get alone. This piece here. We need to know what it is. But I cannot distribute or add or do anything inside the absolute value symbols. I have to get that absolute value all alone. So we're going to treat the yellow box like my x. And we're going to treat it like the x so that we can move the things away from it. Because remember, when you started, these were the types of problems that you had. You had this system set equal to a number, and there's nothing on the sides of it. Well, we want to get this one so that there's nothing on the sides of it. So if I look at it and I cover it, I can say, oh, well, I got to move that negative 1. Okay, well, that negative 1 is really an adding a negative 1, right? So if I add a positive 1 to both sides, I get 26 on one side, and I have 2 times the absolute value of 6x plus 5. Well, I really want to move my 2. I need it to go away from my absolute value equation, because I can't solve my absolute value if it's got something with it. So in order to get rid of the 2, I'm going to divide by 2. And now I have an equivalent form of 1, and so I do it to the other side. Now I get my 6x plus 5 absolute value all by itself, and I have it equal to 13. And now it looks just like it did when you did the easy problems. So I'm going to take what's on the inside, this thing, and set it equal to the positive, and set it equal to the negative. Because remember, if this thing equals a negative 13, it's inside, and negative 13, the absolute value is 13. So now I'm going to solve for x. Whoops. So I get x is equal to, and remember, 8 6 is really 2 times 4 and 2 times 3. So x is really 4/3. And then over here, I'm going to do it with the opposite one. And I get 6x equals negative 18. Divide by 6, x is equal to negative 3. And now I have my two answers. Okay, and remember again, we should really write them as x equals 4/3 and negative 3. Okay, and this should be my final answer, but I should really check them to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. Okay, that should help you for tonight.